Good morning. Welcome to the hearing of the Assessment Equalization Board. Today's hearing deals with the 2021 street cleaning and street lighting projects. As required by Chapter 727 of the Ohio Revised Code, I, Sarah Viviano, as the acting clerk of the legislative authority, have notified by certified mail the person so objecting of the time and place of the hearing by the board. As acting clerk of council, I hereby call this meeting to order. The Assessment Equalization Board consists of a board appointed as per ordinance number 53-1995. Today's board members are Andy McFadden, Chief of Staff, Steve Fricker, Director of Finance, Chris Lovell, Director of Public Service, David Honig, Assistant Director of Law, and Jim Purge, Citizen. The next order will be the explanation of the procedure by the Law Department, represented today by Sean Bowman, Assistant Director of Law. This meeting is being live streamed and recorded. Thank you.
There we go. Good morning, everybody. Akron City Council passed Resolution 96/2021, declaring it necessary to improve various streets within the city by providing street cleaning and street lighting services. Having received objections to the estimated special assessments, Akron City Council duly appointed this Assessment Equalization Board. Jurisdiction of the board is limited to hearing objections as to whether the property has been benefited by the improvements and whether the amount of the assessment is a proper apportionment of those benefits. The board cannot consider whether the project is necessary or revise the nature and scope of the project or the materials used. Those determinations have been made by City Council and are binding on this Assessment Equalization Board. The members of the board that are here, would you please raise your right hand? And do you swear or affirm that you will properly administer the duties of an Assessment Equalization Board? Please signify by saying I do.
I do.
City representatives, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give today will be entirely the truth? Please signify by saying I do.
I do.
I do.
Okay. Sarah, do we have anyone?
We do not.
Okay. As a couple of administrative housekeeping measures, I'll defer to Teresa first. I know she had the opportunity to speak with, I think it was Ms. Stoverman, and then I don't know if you spoke to the Chismars on Halifax or not, or
I did Mr.
not.
Roman, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we just got somebody in the waiting room from Mount Zion Baptist Church.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and bring them in? We can continue that discussion later. Good morning. Is the representative from Mount Zion Baptist? I think you're muted. Could you say hi and introduce yourself?
I just sent a prompt that's going to ask you to unmute.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That's all right. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Yourself?
I'm good. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking with?
This is Joseph Ray. I'm a trustee of Mount Zion Baptist, and also here with our chair and our co-chair of our trustee ministry.
Okay. Well, wonderful. Thank you for taking the time. We had gotten started, but as at this point, Mount Zion is the only objector that is present at the hearing. So I will just summarize where we were, what we've done so far. I gave an introduction as to, hello. I gave an introduction. Sorry. Again, my name is Sean Bowman. I'm an assistant director of law. I gave the introduction as a procedure that City Council passed a resolution declaring it necessary to provide street cleaning and street lighting services. We're having this hearing because we've had objections to those, and that the jurisdiction of the board is limited to whether or not the property is benefited by the street cleaning and street lighting services, not necessarily, they don't have the authority to determine that the services are not necessary, just whether or not the property is benefited by it. At this point, I had sworn in the members of the Assessment Equalization Board to faithfully execute those duties. I swore in the members of, or I swore oath to the city representatives to tell the truth. And I'm going to put you guys on the spot right now because you are the the first people here. If you wouldn't mind, I'm gonna swear you in right now. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give today will be entirely the truth? Please signify by saying I do.
I
I
do.
do. All right, thank you. So we're at the point now where Teresa Herbert is the city assessor, and the other folks that are involved with the city as of this project have the opportunity to basically give a synopsis of what the project is. And if there are any initial questions from the board, they can answer those questions now. So, Teresa, if you want to start.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. The city of Akron assesses for street lighting and street cleaning to property owners who have those services. The street cleaning services not only include street cleaning the streets, but it also includes snow and ice removal and leaf removal as well. These are ongoing assessments that are collected with the property taxes semi-annually every 6 months. They are ongoing assessments. We have not had a rate increase since last year. So those are all the same. And basically that sums up the assessment process for that.
Okay, is there anyone that can talk a little bit about the street cleaning services?
Sure, I can. Hi, my name's Kevin Muller. I'm the street cleaning superintendent, and our roles and responsibilities as far as the assessment goes is to carry out the cleaning of the streets, sweeping them, also removing leaves in the fall, and then snow and ice in the winter. We also take care of dead animal removal throughout the streets and any special cleanups from debris or accidents.
Okay, about street lighting, do we have someone who can? Okay. Well, there's street lighting. I mean, you have, lights that are abutting the streets, and you're charged. In my understanding, you're charged a rate based on the lights that you have in front of the streets. And it's simplistic, but that is, I think, I don't know what I don't off the top of my head know what the rates are, but that's what street lighting.
Yeah,
Sorry?
the rates
Sorry, there is street lighting present on Ohio Edison poles.
Yeah.
There is street lighting present on Ohio Edison poles in front of the property. Yep.
Okay. All right, thank you, Travis. And then, so if the objectors from the church would like to, now's the time to go forward and state your objection to the assessment. If you have any questions of the city officials, that is appropriate at this point in time as well.
Okay, thank you for this hearing and giving us an opportunity to air our concerns. In regards to our letter that we presented to the city prior to this meeting, we were concerned about the assessment. And we were concerned because of the fact during the pandemic, the property wasn't being utilized a lot of times, and because there were a lot of times we were closed because of the pandemic. So we were concerned about being assessed this amount, the amount, and also we were concerned too because we were closed a lot of times. We weren't taking in the revenue that we usually would receive because when we're open, the membership wasn't there to provide the financial stability that we usually were accustomed to. And that's why we're presenting this case to all of you. And also, I was going to turn over to my chair, Samuel McCanson, also our co-chair, Simone Hickson Wright. And they might have some other comments they'd like to add also.
Hi, good morning to you. I'm Sam McCanson, chairman of the trustee board. I really want to piggyback on much of what Joseph Ray had presented to you. Without the revenue coming in, it's kind of hard to justify us being able to pay. We're trying to find any kind of assistance that we could get financially, help whatever, so we're not overboard trying to bear these burdens of financial responsibility without the revenue coming in for over a year due to COVID.
And so,
So I am having a hard time hearing since we've switched
Okay.
over.
Are you having a hard
Yeah,
time hearing?
There you go.
Now, perfect.
Oh, okay. I'm Simone Wright, Vice Chair of the Trustee Board. And because we weren't, again, because we weren't utilizing the church, members weren't coming in. A lot of members were suffering themselves financially, so the tithes and offering wasn't coming in. We wasn't at the church, so there, as far as having lighting and cleaning the streets, it didn't really, we really didn't benefit from that because we weren't here. And that went on for quite a while. So we're really trying to recoup now, since things seem like they're trying to get back to normal, but still, our members are still trying to recoup as with the church. So right now we're having a hard time again paying for this assessment, and that's where we are. Bottom line, we're having a hard time paying for the assessment. Being so, we weren't here to utilize the services that the city was providing anyway, because the church was closed. So we're really now just trying to get back on our feet as a church and for our members. We have our members are up in age. A lot of them are disabled. They're on a fixed income. And so that's where we are right now.
Thank you. City representatives, any response at this point?
I would like to respond to that.
Yes.
As far as the property, it's located on our residential principal route number 2. So far this year, we've swept it approximately 16 times. On average, we're somewhere around 30 to 35 times a year we swept it. Last year with COVID, we were a few rounds down. As far as sweeping, we got in 28 rounds last year and 16 years so far to date.
Okay, anybody else from the city? Okay, I guess turn over to the members of the Assessment Equalization Board. Any questions that you have for the objectors or for the city representatives?
So let me ask real quick. So Kevin, I know you just talked about the fact that we had, so a typical year that the number of sweepings would be how many?
On a typical year, they would be somewhere right around 32 to 35.
Okay, and we believe we did about 28.
Last year we did about 28, yeah.
Okay.
And this year we're at 16 so far, and we're on schedule to hit our sweeping rounds.
Right.
That doesn't include the other services as far as leaf season, dead animal pickup, debris pickup, and snow and ice. But as far as sweeping goes, yeah.
Okay. Were there any other I don't know, variances from the typical level of service in terms of leaf removal or snow and ice that impact your property, or was that pretty much the typical level of service provided?
Yeah, they were pretty typical, leaf season and snow and ice.
May I chime in, please?
Yes, absolutely, please.
Regarding the street cleaning, so if a typical year was 35 times and you did 28, so that's a 20% reduction in the street sweeping. So we definitely should receive some consideration regarding that. And regarding the leaf pickup, we pick up the leaves ourselves. We take care of the leaves ourselves. So we don't even utilize the city for leaf pickup. I was always under the impression, because we're commercial, we consider commercial property, that the city doesn't take care of the leaves, and we've been taking care of that for years.
Yeah, that is incorrect. If your property is along the street and you have frontage, all you have to do is Look for when your area is going to be picked up on the card that is sent in the water bill or online, and then put your leaves out onto the curb the day before your scheduled pickup, and we will be around to pick up those leaves. So in the
Oh, okay.
future, if that's helpful for you in the future, definitely set them out and we will get them.
Oh, okay. Right. Because I was always under the impression since we had to pay for a private trash pickup, and we're not a part of the city for the trash pickup. I was under the impression that as far as the leaves is the same. But right, like I said, we've never utilized but for future reference, if we're being assessed for, we put them out there. But
Yeah.
and there, we have a lot of leaves. You sure you want to pick up all this? I mean, we're talking.
All right.
Oh, there are. So, but like I said, I'm sorry.
I said we like leaves. The more, the better.
No, okay. We might have the street blocked off. I'm serious. That's no exaggeration. The amount of leaves we have on this property.
We'll get them for sure.
But yes, in light of that, right? That the services for street cleaning is down 20%. You're going from 35 to 28, and then also that we don't utilize the leaf cleanup. I believe we should receive some consideration on a reduction in the rate or the assessment that we receive.
I do just want to chime in that obviously, members of leadership of Mount Zion, thank you for showing up today. Obviously, we can completely empathize with what a rough year last year was. I think, a lot of churches, nonprofits, everybody was definitely feeling it. I think for purposes here, I guess, is there precedent that, we reduce because of the main cause of lack of revenue, you know what I mean, from a business? If that's not a precedent, then, where are we going with this? But with that, I will say, I'd love for your organization to, send us more information on what you're doing as a church. We obviously did receive federal stimulus dollars that might be able to help out in certain instances. So even if we are, this isn't quite a precedent for us, just merely based on lack of revenue, I think maybe slightly reduced services may be another issue. But I think that's something you can definitely send our way to see if there's another way that we can help relieve some of the financial burden you guys are feeling merely through the federal stimulus dollars that we did receive. So I think that can, we can send you contact information, and maybe we can follow up that way too. I just wanted to put that out there as an option to help you guys out, because we completely empathize with where you are.
Yes, if you can send that to us, that would be great. But I believe we do have a legitimate case regarding the services that we utilize that we haven't utilized, and the reduction in the services.
And Annie, with respect to is precedent, the jurisdiction of the board is confined to the benefit received by the property. So I would say, a lack of revenue coming in is not a factor of the benefit received. That being said, I mean, the board in the past has done, things that they've done, and so I don't know that there's not an instance where that was a factor, but I don't think that is, one of the things that is properly adjudicated by the board. It's more the benefit to the property itself.
So we heard about some reductions in street cleaning. Is there any other data to show like a total reduction in services that might affect their total bill?
Kevin, is there, or Teresa, do they break down the services at all between what portion is the actual sweepings and what portions are snow and ice removal, et cetera?
Yes, I do have that. There's two parcels involved here. They both front Cuyahoga Street. Let me get a total here, and I can tell you what they're paying for both on the sweeping. So the total for the street cleaning is $321.72 a half for those two parcels.
But is that then broken between the like snow and ice removal, or is that just
No, I don't have.
broken between street cleaning? Okay, I did not think that you
No,
had
that's
that
just the
level of
total
breakdown.
for that service, yeah.
But so
Teresa,
that's the amount.
what's the lighting? What's the lighting perhaps?
The lighting is $113.84 a half. The total for both is $452.99 a half for the lighting and cleaning for both parcels.
How much is the leaf removal, or is that included in the street cleaning?
It's all included in that total.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a per foot rate for all
Right.
of those services. It's not
Right,
necessarily
it's the
broken
rate
down.
times the amount of frontage.
Is it based on the number of visits in a typical year?
It is not. It's, for an example, the price for residential, and correct me if I'm wrong, Teresa, it's basically $1.27 a linear foot for the frontage that you have along whatever property is that you're discussing. Now, when it comes to snow and ice, that price covers it whether we have to come out and plow 20 times or if we have to come out and plow 40 times. As far as the sweeping part goes, we sweep we sweep RPs once weekly, and then during the summer months when things are cleaned up a little bit better for June, July, or I'm sorry, yeah, June, July, and August, we sweep every other week. The reason we were down on a few sweepings last year was because at a particular period during COVID when it was first hitting, we were running with just an emergency crew, so to speak, there for quite a while. So we weren't staying on our normal schedule that we were normally on. And that price also includes anything else like debris cleanup, dead animal pickup, leaf season. That's all included in that $1.27 a foot.
Actually, this on Cuyahoga, it's a class 50 and it's $1.54 a foot.
Oh, you are correct. Thank you. $1.54 a foot.
Is there a breakdown as far as the leaf, or is it just lump sum in there? Do you have an actual breakdown? How much is for just the normal maintenance for sweeping and cleaning and actual picking up the leaves? Because that's a lot more intensive picking up leaves as opposed to just sweeping the streets.
No, there is no breakdown. That $1.54 a foot is a lump sum that includes all of those services.
Now, I guess I can understand that you guys probably don't have a precedent as far as because it's a reduction in revenue and it doesn't reduce the taxes. I mean, from my own personal standpoint, because of COVID and other factors, and mainly COVID, my job was eliminated. So and my property taxes haven't been reduced. So I can understand that, but I do see that there should be consideration because of the reduction in the services and because of the fact that we don't even utilize the leaf pickup.
This is something that as we deliberate, we can, give consideration to.
Yeah, I think we can. I do want to, one other thing, and I don't know that, again, the board has discretion. The resolution in front of you right now is for services in 2021. It's not the ordinance last year was for the resolution last year is for services in 2020. And so, I mean, again, I leave whatever decision up to the discretion of the board, but that could be, I mean, people, and it's hard. It's the tail wagging the dog a little bit is that you're doing this in June. You don't necessarily know what the services are going to be for the rest of the year. So I mean, I think there is some discretion in the board's judgment, but again, this is for 2021. Is that the resolution in front of you right now?
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if we want to, you know, at this point in time, I think we should, and unless the church has something else they would like to say at this point, go on to discussing the other objections before you guys deliberate and make a decision.
I mean, it would be greatly appreciated.
Is there anything else that the members of the church would like to say before we go on to the next objectors? Okay, I think I'll, when before that they logged on, we were beginning to discuss, I think it was the two, the Ms. Stoberman, who I believe Teresa said she spoke with, and then the objection on Halifax, which I think is resolved in and of itself, but I will let Teresa.
Yes, I did speak with Mrs. Stoberman last week and explained to her that she currently is not being assessed for street cleaning on Heimbach. I think that there was some confusion in her objection that she thought she was being assessed for that. She's only being assessed for street lighting, and she is getting a break on that street because it is the longest side of the property. It's on a corner. It's on the corner of Krause and Heimbach. So I did explain to her that she was only paying for street lighting, and I think she was satisfied with that and understood, you know, that she wasn't paying for the cleaning. And the property on Halifax, I did leave a message for a phone call to be returned. I did not hear back from the objectors. However, I believe there was a misunderstanding in how they were interpreting the notice that they did receive. They currently are only paying for street sweeping. It sounded like they thought that street lighting was going to be added to their property, and that is not the case. So again, I believe it was a misunderstanding in the objection. They are only paying for street sweeping and not lighting on Halifax.
And I believe their objection was only about lighting. So, yeah. Then we have the group from Cherrywood Lane. I think some of you were on the board last year. I actually took the time to rewatch. That's one nice thing about the Zoom and YouTube meetings, is that I was able to watch that this morning. Last year we gave a 50% reduction to those property owners for their frontage on, I think it's George Washington, and then did a full, you know, they were charged the full freight for their frontage on Cherrywood. The councilman McKittrick, you know, is in favor of continuing to do that. I also know he's had some preliminary discussions with the service director about looking at trying to figure out a way to treat properties that aren't a corner lot but have frontage on two streets. But for the time being, we still have the same, you know, the same ordinance. So this group of streets is in front of you again. You know, Chris, don't let me put words in your mouth, but my understanding as a service director is in favor of treating this the same way that it was treated last year, with
That is correct, Sean.
reduction on George Washington. So, and then after that, I think we have one other objectors, the Atalas, and they don't appear to be on. So if hopefully you have had a chance to review their objection, and if you have any questions about that objection, please let us know. If not, I'm going to go ahead and close the testimony and allow you guys to deliberate in the best way that you can see fit over Zoom. And if you want to, I think that I'm guessing that there'll be a specific resolution with respect to the 4 Cherrywood Lane properties, but the other ones you can either give a motion in total or individual ones for each property. So I don't know if there's someone wants to take the reins as being the self-appointed board leader, but feel free.
So given that there's only, 5 objections, why don't we just handle them individually and
Okay.
grade on each one?
All right. Well, I will go in order of what I have on the sheet. Then the first one would be the Chismars, which were on Halifax. Do you have?
I think that one has been self-resolved, correct, Teresa? That
I believe so, yes. I mean, like I said, I didn't speak with them directly, but I left a message. And I believe Jim Hall actually tried to reach out to them as well. So I believe it's been resolved, yeah.
I believe that would be no modification of the assessment for that
Okay.
property.
And every members of the board, are you in favor of that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Any objection? Okay. The next one I have is Carol Treon on Cherrywood Lane. I think we should treat the Cherrywood Lane ones as one. So is there a motion for how to treat those properties?
So last year, this is where we gave a 50% reduction on the one side.
Yes.
Okay, so I would propose that we do the same this year.
So it'd be a 50% reduction to the assessment on George Washington. Okay, is all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, next we have Mount Zion Baptist Church.
Okay, so given that there was a slight reduction in the level of service, now the key comes into what portion of the service is street cleaning versus snow and ice versus leaf removal. But based on the fact that the street cleanings themselves were at approximately a 20% lower rate, I would propose a 10% reduction in the street cleaning portion of the charge. And then we could also take into consideration the fact that leaf removal, even though it was offered as a service, was not taken advantage of, and therefore the work really wasn't done, even though, in theory it was an available service. So I'll open it up to others to what their thoughts are on this.
Well, I think it goes back to the benefit of the property, and they did receive the benefit. As we understand the hardships that everybody went through, but the reduction in street sweeping of 20% of the sweepings, we did perform snow and ice. The level we did all the other services to the same level. So I don't know how we would calculate that. You're saying 10%, Steve, but I don't know how you would calculate that 10%.
I know, and that's kind of an arbitrary number, basically taking into account that, that the street cleaning portion is not the entirety, of the service. It's one component of it. So that's my, that's just kind of a general, proposal that, that they be given some consideration because the typical level of service was not performed, and therefore the benefit was not entirely, gained by the property owner.
I'll agree to the 10%, especially because we didn't know how last year was going to end up. We have consideration for this year, and then for the Mount Zion group, I also did just message you guys privately if you just want to send some info to mayor@akronohio.gov. I can see how I can connect you.
And per what Mr. Bowman talked about, really this would be a one-time, because in theory we are talking about 2021 service here, not 2020. So in some respects, this would be kind of making amends for last year. So this would not be, this would not be an annual thing that we would be doing. This is a one-time, kind of
It is not precedent setting for this board in the future. Okay, well, I have a motion, I think, in a second. I guess, David, Chris, Mr. Purge, if you
I will vote the 10% reduction.
Okay.
I'm voting against the 10% reduction.
And I will vote for the 10%.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. We will, I think then that carries. So Teresa, you can help figure that out for me when we do the board report.
So here, that should be a reduction of $32.17.
Okay. And then we have the Atalas. Anyone want to make a motion on their objection?
Just for clarity, we have no further information than what was in the letter.
No, I mean,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, Teresa, if they reached out or.
No, no.
Okay, I mean, based on that, I'll move for no change.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. And then the final one was Stoberman. That was the one that we did the letter, and Teresa supplemented with her conversation.
Correct. So I will propose no change on that one.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, well, thank you, everybody. Thank you to the members of Mount Zion for showing and participating. Everybody that served on the board and we're here to testify, thank you. I will be circulating, since we don't have council this upcoming week, we have more time than usual, but I will be circulating a board report. Teresa, if you can figure out for me what the actual dollar reduction is for each property that has been modified, I can put that in the report. We will circulate that, and if I can just get email approvals of everybody, that would be good.
Quick question.
Yes.
If we don't agree with your result, is there an appeal process?
That you would, I mean, I would suggest talking to an attorney for that. I think the appeal would be into the administrative appeal to the courts. But I can't specifically give that advice as attorney for the city. But yeah, I mean, there are avenues to appeal. The best way to do that, I don't can't advise. Okay. Anything further? All right. Well, I sign off and thank you again, everybody, for your time.
All right.
Thank you.
Meeting is adjourned.